What's going on, guys? I got another video for you today. This one is on using the tire machine to mount low profile tires or skinnier tires or tires that have kind of a stiffer sidewall on them. So I have this tire here. I know it's not anything too fancy. It's a 16-inch rim, but it's alloy and it's a size 215/55 R16. So I'm going to use this to kind of show you the steps. I realize there are tires out there that are larger rims, 18-inch rims that are lower profile, but it's just kind of a video that walks you through the process and how you use all the attachments to actually get the tire on and off the rim without damaging a rim or hurting yourself. So of course, first thing is going to be use the valve stem tool to take out the valve stem. Alright, we're then going to use the bead breaker to knock the bead loose from the rim, break the airtight seal. Remember, TPMS sensors, so you want to put that valve stem 12 o'clock position, 6 o'clock position so that you don't damage it. And then very carefully, it's still kind of stuck to the rim, so I'm going to very carefully knock that loose by the valve stem. Spin it around, do the same thing. Alright, now that we got the rim bead, or the tire bead broken loose from the rim, we can go ahead and mount it up on the turntable up on the tire machine here. When you go to do this, the whole goal of this is not to scratch the rim. Steel wheels, we just drop them on there, but these teeth bite into the steel rim and it ends up scratching them. We don't want to do that with our nice aluminum rim. So here's what we're after. So I stepped on the middle pedal here with the 4 arrows to open up the jaws. Take your rim, you set it up there, and then when we close it, now it's grabbing the rim by the outside edge here. There's plastic guards on here that aren't going to scratch the rim, so we don't have to worry about messing up the inside of our rim. So that's what I'm going to be attempting to do. Now the part that you can't see when I do this is there's a tire on there. We have to push the rim down first. So we're going to get the jaws close so that the rim can sit there. And I'm going to use the assist arm to push down on the rim so that the tire kind of gets squished up a little bit so that the jaws can actually grab onto the rim. I'll show you what I mean with that. So we got to get the table to the approximate size of the rim, slightly larger than what the rim is. And right now I'm really close to that. We're going to take our assist arm, bring that in, take the centering cone right here, our little cone shaped piece, put that in the middle. So what I'm doing is just putting pressure on that to push the rim down so that when the jaws come in, they actually grab onto the rim. So I'm kind of squishing the tire up. There we go. Bring the assist arm up, move this out of the way. So now I've grabbed my rim from the outside edges and I'm not scratching it at all. Next thing, bring in the arm, and I'm going to lock this in place slightly above where it's supposed to be. If you've watched my last videos, I call this the duck. You've got the duck's beak, duck's head, and duck's tail back here. We want to make sure the duck does not come into contact with the edge of the rim and scratch it up. I've had some viewers in the past post that they got tires back from the tire shop. Rims are all scratched up because they didn't adjust this properly. Here's how you do that. Up here there's a set screw. We want to make sure that the duck is not actually resting on the rim. So we turn this screw to push the duck away so that it does not ever come into contact with the rim while I'm using this to pry on the tire and take the tire on and off. If I were to have this adjusted too loosely, right now the duck's head is hitting the rim. That would cause damage to my nice rims. So turn the set screw, push the duck's head away from the rim a little bit. Just a tiny little gap is all you need. Push down, lock it in. Now with this lever, I like to use the end that has the little nubby part on there, if you will. I think that grabs onto the bead of the tire a little bit better. Take the assist arm, go over to the edge of the tire. Now typically this is really stiff. You can't get the lever down inside there to grab the bead of it. So you use the assist arm. To do the work for you. So that pushed the edge of my tire down, so now I can grab hold of the tire bead. Then, anywhere else the tire is stuck on the lip of the rim, and the most important critical place to put this is on the opposite side. We want to push this bead down into the deep part of the rim, the drop center. Now I can pry that up and over the duck's head to start the process of taking the tire off. I'm going to use the left pedal down here to rotate. Now, some of you, if you have the fancier machine, some of them actually have a hook on the little assist arm right here. And you could actually take your little hook and grab onto the bead of the tire to help you lift it up. My assist arm does not have that, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way and just use my hand. We're going to lift the left side of the tire up into the drop center of the rim, the deep part of the rim. That makes this easier to get into. Prying my lower bead up and over the duck's head and rotate. And now the tire is off. Now that we got the tire off, you can see down here where these jaws are grabbing onto the outside edge of the rim, so we're not going to damage that rim. All right, to put this back on. Most shops have a paste. Mine's a little dried out here. I also have the soapy water, we call it the dead rat. I'm going to use that stuff. But if you're mounting tires for real, this stuff works great. Definitely stays slick a lot longer, helps get the tire on when they're a little bit tighter fitting. Going to take the Rube Glide is the real name for it. Put that on there, the bead of the tire. With these tighter fitting low profile tires, gotta make sure there's enough of this on there so the rubber doesn't stick to the rim and then cause the bead to get torn. Also, I'm going to mention that you should replace valve stems whenever you replace tires. They're really cheap. I show in my other videos how to replace those, so I'm going to skip over that now. But now that the rim bead has the lubricant on it, tire bead has lubricant on it, we can go ahead and put this back on. Take the tire, set it on an angle, swing that in. We're going to take the lower bead over the duck tail underneath the duck head and rotate. The top bead is typically the really tricky one. This is the one that most people stumble with the most. So I'm going to use a couple extra tools here to help me. First one being the clamp. I'm going to put this on here so that it holds the bead of my tire down and set towards the center of the rim. Also, I'm going to take my roller, swing the roller around, flip it down. That's going to help the sidewall of my tire stay underneath the duck head so it doesn't get torn. And finally, I'm going to have this guy ready for when I need that. Here we go. Alright, so when I hit this point, the bead of the tire generally gets stuck on that lip of the rim. So I'm going to use my assist arm. Push that down a little bit more. There we go. Now you notice it gets a little tricky right here. You do not want your rim clamp to hit the mounting head, otherwise you mess things up. The other thing is, I'm going to back this up. If you put your assist arm down here, like such, make sure that the assist arm doesn't come around and actually hit the tire machine. Right here. That into that. That would also mess up your machine. So a lot of things to watch when you're doing these low profiles. As you can see, my assist arm's broken and it likes to go up on its own. So something we're looking into getting fixed here. But that is a lot of the fancy things that allow you to mount a low profile tire or do an alloy wheel with some of the stiffer sidewall tires that are pretty common on cars today. Move that out of the way. Move that out of the way. Take this off. And finally seating the bead. Nothing special here, same as any other tire. If it is really tricky to mount, some people have the cheetahs, compressed air in a tank. They use that to blast the tire onto the rim. This one will probably just start sealing up. All right, there we go. Now, what you don't want to do is keep filling the tire because remember, these jaws are grabbing onto the edge of the rim and you're squishing the tire against that. So before we completely fill it, we want to let the air out, open the jaws back up. And now we can go ahead and finish filling the tire. Sometimes the little plastic guards come off and get wedged in there, so I always check to make sure that they didn't pop off. And now we can install the valve core. and you would fill the tire up to whatever the specified pressure is on the door label, and you're ready to go on to the next tire. All right, any questions? Leave me a comment at the bottom. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already.